Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Nighttime Mics. I'm Sarah, and as always, I'm here with my good friend Mike. How's it going, Mike?
Hey Sarah, I'm doing great, though I'm a little bit tired. I actually just got back from the airport a few hours ago. I was picking up my cousin who's visiting from Chicago.
Oh, nice. The airport. That is a perfect topic for today. To be honest, I have a love-hate relationship with airports. There is so much excitement because you're going somewhere new, but the actual process, it can be so stressful.
I know, right? I totally agree. There is this weird energy at the airport. Everyone is in a rush, but at the same time, everyone is just sitting around waiting. It's like a different world where time doesn't really exist. Like, why is it okay to eat a giant burger at 6 in the morning at the airport?
Exactly, the airport time bubble. Normal rules don't apply. But before we get to the food, let's talk about the beginning of the journey. Are you one of those people who packs their bags a week in advance, or do you leave it until the very last minute?
Oh, I definitely try to plan ahead, but I always end up throwing things into my suitcase an hour before I have to leave. It's a bad habit. I always feel like I'm going to forget something really important, like my passport or my charger. What about you?
I'm a total planner. I make lists for my lists. I usually pack 2 days before. I hate that feeling of rushing. But even with all my planning, I still get that travel anxiety. You know, that feeling when you've already left the house and you think, wait, did I turn off the oven? Did I lock the front door?
I get that every single time. And then there's the passport check. I probably check my pocket for my passport every 5 minutes until I actually get on the plane. It's like I think it's just going to grow legs and walk away.
I do the same thing. I'll be standing in line at the check-in desk and I'll open my bag just to make sure it's still there, even though I saw it 30 seconds ago. Speaking of check-in, do you prefer checking a bag or just taking a carry-on?
Oh, I'm team carry-on all the way. I love being able to just hop off the plane and head straight to the exit without waiting at the baggage carousel for 40 minutes. Plus, there's always that fear that the airline might lose your luggage. Have you ever had your bags go missing?
Luckily, no, but I've had friends who arrived in Hawaii and their suitcases ended up in London. I usually have to check a bag, though. I'm a heavy packer. I always think, what if I need these 3 extra pairs of shoes? Or what if it rains and I need 4 jackets?
4 jackets? Sarah, where are you going? The North Pole?
You never know. Better safe than sorry. But you're right, waiting at the baggage claim is the worst part of the trip. Everyone stands so close to the belt and you can't even see if your bag is coming. It's like a battle zone.
It really is, and people get so aggressive. But let's go back a step. Once you get to the airport and you drop off your bags, you have to face the most exciting part, security. How do you feel about the security lines?
Don't even get me started. Security is the part I dread the most. It's so high pressure. You have to take off your belt, take out your laptop, make sure your liquid's in a tiny clear bag, and all while 100 people are waiting behind you, judging how slow you are.
I know. I always feel like I'm doing something wrong, even though I know I'm not. The security officers are always so serious, too. They look at you like you're trying to smuggle a dinosaur onto the plane. I remember one time I forgot I had a tiny bottle of water in my backpack and the alarm went off. I felt like a criminal. No way! Did they make you do a full search? They just opened my bag and threw the water away, but it was so embarrassing. I had to stand there while everyone watched. Now I'm extra careful. I make sure I figure out exactly what needs to come out of my bag before I even get to the front of the line.
That's smart. I've learned to wear airport-friendly clothes. No belts, no complicated shoes with a million laces, and no jewelry that might set off the metal detector. I basically dress like I'm going to the gym.
That's the way to do it. It's all about efficiency. But once you get through security, that's when the fun starts, right? You're finally in the departure lounge and you have that feeling of, okay, I'm officially on holiday.
Yes, that's when the stress disappears. I love walking through the duty-free shops. I don't usually buy much because everything is so expensive, but I love smelling all the perfumes and looking at the giant boxes of chocolate.
Oh, the giant Toblerone. It's an airport classic. I don't think I've ever seen a small Toblerone in my life. They only exist in giant size at airports. I usually end up buying a magazine or a book that I'll probably never actually finish reading.
Me too. I have a stack of airport books at home that are half read. And what about airport food? Are you a fan?
It depends. I mean, most of the time it's just overpriced sandwiches. But there's something about airport coffee that just tastes better. Maybe it's just the excitement. Although I did come up with a rule for myself. No matter how hungry I am, I won't pay more than $10 for a basic ham and cheese sandwich.
That's a good rule. Sometimes the prices are just ridiculous. I once saw a bottle of water for $6. $6! You could buy a whole pack of 20 for that price at a supermarket.
It's crazy. They know you can't go anywhere else, so they can charge whatever they want. It's a captured audience, as they say. But honestly, I usually end up paying it anyway because I get so thirsty after walking around.
I know, me too. I always tell myself I'll bring an empty water bottle and fill it up at the fountain, but I usually forget. So after you've had your expensive coffee and looked at the giant chocolates, what do you do to kill time before your flight?
I'm a big people watcher. I love sitting near a busy gate and just watching everyone go by. You see so many different types of people. Families with kids who are crying, business people looking stressed on their laptops, young backpackers looking for adventure. You can almost imagine their stories.
I love that too. You see so many emotions. People saying goodbye and crying, or people waiting for their loved ones to arrive and looking so happy. It's very cinematic. I actually saw a proposal at an airport once.
No way, really? Like in the movies?
Almost. It was near the arrivals gate. A guy was holding a big sign that said, "Will you marry me?" And when the girl walked out, he got down on one knee. Everyone started clapping. It was actually really sweet.
Wow, that's brave. I don't think I could do that in front of so many strangers. What if she said no? That would be the most awkward walk to the car ever.
Luckily, she said yes. But yeah, the airport is full of those human moments. It's one of the few places where it's totally normal to show a lot of emotion in public.
That's true. But then, after all that people watching, the dreaded announcement comes. Flight 123 is now boarding at gate 45. And suddenly the piece is over.
The boarding process is a whole other level of chaos. Have you noticed how people start standing up and forming a line even before the staff says anything?
Yes, I call them gate lice. Why do they do that? Your seat is reserved. The plane isn't going to leave without you if you're sitting 5 feet away.
I never understood it either. Everyone is so anxious to get on the plane first, but then they just end up sitting in a cramped seat for an extra 20 minutes while everyone else boards. I prefer to stay seated until the very last minute. I'd rather have more legroom for as long as possible.
Exactly. I usually wait until my group is called. It's much more relaxing. But then you have the struggle of finding space for your bag in the overhead bin. If you're the last one on, sometimes there's no room left.
That's the one reason to board early, I guess. I've had to put my bag under the seat in front of me before because the bins were full, and it's so annoying. You lose all your foot space. It's like flying in a tiny box.
Oh, I hate that. I'm quite tall, so every inch of legroom matters to me. If I have to put a bag under the seat, my knees are basically hitting my chin for the whole flight.
That sounds miserable. I'm a bit shorter, so it's not as bad for me, but it's still not comfortable. And then there's the middle seat situation. Have you ever been stuck in the middle between two strangers?
Oh, many times. It's the worst. You're fighting for the armrests and you feel like you can't move. One time I was stuck between two people who were both very, let's say, talkative. They weren't talking to me, they were talking to each other across me. I felt like a tennis net.
No way! That is so rude. Why didn't they just swap seats?
I asked them, but they said they preferred their window and aisle seats. I had to listen to their whole conversation about their aunt's cat for 3 hours. I almost gave up and asked the flight attendant to move me to the back of the plane.
That's hilarious, Mike. I think I would have just put my headphones on and turned the volume up as loud as possible.
I tried, but I could still hear them. It was a long flight, let's just put it that way. But you know, even with all the annoyances, there's still that feeling when the plane finally takes off. That moment when you feel the wheels leave the ground, it's always a little bit magical, isn't it?
It really is. No matter how many times I fly, I still love looking out the window at the clouds. Everything looks so small and peaceful from up there. It makes all the stress of the airport worth it.
I totally agree. Once you're in the air, you can finally settle in and relax. Well, as much as you can relax on a plane. I usually try to watch a movie or two. Do you find it hard to sleep on planes?
Oh, I can never sleep. I see people who nod off as soon as the engines start, and I'm so jealous. I've tried everything, neck pillows, eye masks, soothing music, but I just can't do it. I usually just end up watching 3 movies back to back.
I'm the same. I might doze off for 10 minutes, but then my head falls forward and I wake up. It's impossible to get comfortable. And then there's the airplane food to look forward to. Are you a fan of the little trays?
You know, I actually kind of like it. I know it's not 5-star dining, but there's something fun about the little compartments. The tiny roll of bread, the small salad, the mystery dessert. It's like a little puzzle.
A puzzle. That's a funny way to put it. I usually find the bread as hard as a rock, but I eat it anyway because I'm bored. I think that's the main reason people eat on planes. There's nothing else to do.
Definitely. It breaks up the time. And then before you know it, the pilot comes on the radio and says, "We've begun our descent." That's my favorite part. The excitement starts all over again because you're almost at your destination.
Yes, that feeling of touching down is the best. Even if it's a bumpy landing, everyone just feels relieved to be back on solid ground. And then comes the big race to get off the plane.
Oh my gosh, yes. As soon as the fasten seatbelt sign turns off, you hear that click, click, click of everyone unbuckling at the same time. It's like the start of a marathon.
And then everyone stands up in the aisle and just stays there for like 10 minutes. We can't go anywhere. The doors aren't even open yet. I always just stay in my seat and wait for the crowd to thin out.
I'm with you on that. There's no point in standing there with your neck bent because of the overhead bins. I'll wait. But once you finally get off the plane and walk through that jet bridge, the air always smells different. It's the smell of a new city.
That's so true. Even if it's just the smell of jet fuel and terminal carpet, it feels like arrival. And then, of course, you have to go through immigration or pick up your bags. The journey isn't quite over yet.
True. If you're traveling internationally, the immigration line can be another test of patience. I remember standing in line for 2 hours once in New York. I was so tired I could barely stand up.
2 hours? That's brutal. I think I would have run out of patience after 30 minutes. But I guess you don't have a choice. You just have to deal with it.
Exactly. You just put up with it because you know the reward is a great vacation. And honestly, once you walk out of the sliding doors and see the taxis and the palm trees or whatever's waiting for you, you forget all about the lines and the overpriced sandwiches.
You really do. It's all part of the travel experience, the highs and the lows. I think that's why we keep doing it. Even though we complain about the security lines in the middle seats, we're always looking forward to our next trip.
Absolutely. In fact, just talking about this makes me want to look up some flights for next summer. I think I'm due for a holiday.
We too. Maybe somewhere with a very short security line and a very large beach.
That sounds like a dream. But you know, we were talking about people watching earlier, and I just remembered a funny story. I once saw a guy at the airport who was trying to check in a surfboard, but it was way too big. He was trying to argue with the staff, saying it was just extra large luggage.
A surfboard? No way. Did he actually get away with it?
No, they made him go to a special oversized baggage counter, and I think he had to pay a huge fee. He looked so annoyed. He kept saying, "But it's part of my soul."
It's part of my soul. That's classic. People really do bring up the strangest things when they travel. I once saw someone trying to bring a giant potted plant onto a plane, like a tree.
A tree? How did they think that would fit in the overhead bin?
I have no idea. I think they figured out pretty quickly that it wasn't going to happen. The flight attendant just looked at them and shook her head. It was hilarious.
It's those kinds of moments that make airports so interesting. It's a place where everyone's true colors come out because they're usually a bit tired or stressed. You see the best and the worst of people.
Definitely. And you know, speaking of true colors, have you ever noticed how people act at the gate when there's a delay? That's when things get really interesting.
Oh, definitely. There's always the angry person who starts shouting at the gate agent as if it's their personal fault that it's snowing or that the engine needs a repair.
I know. I always feel so sorry for the staff. They're just doing their job. Shouting at them isn't going to make the plane fly any faster. I usually just chill out and find a corner to charge my phone.
That's the best way to handle it. I always make sure I bring along a portable charger just in case. There's nothing worse than having a dead phone when you're stuck at the airport for 3 hours.
Oh, I've been there. Searching for a power outlet at an airport is like searching for gold. You see people huddled around a single plug in the wall like it's a campfire.
That is such a perfect image. It really is like that. And if you find an outlet that actually works, you feel like you've won the lottery.
Exactly. I actually came across a secret charging station once at a quiet gate. I felt like I had discovered a hidden treasure. I didn't want to tell anyone because I didn't want to share the power.
How selfish, Mike. But I totally understand. In the airport, it's every man for himself.
It really is. But you know, another thing that always comes up when talking about airports is the duty-free deals. Do you actually think things are cheaper there?
Honestly, not really. Maybe for some things like high-end electronics or certain perfumes, but most of the time, I think you can find better prices online. I think people just buy things because they're bored or they want to treat themselves.
I think you're right. It's vacation brain. You think, well, I'm on holiday, so it's okay to buy this 3-pound bag of M&Ms.
Exactly. Vacation brain is a real thing. It's why I always end up buying a souvenir magnet for a place I only stayed in for 2 days. I don't even like magnets that much.
I have a whole collection of those. My fridge is covered in them. Every time I look at them, I think back to the trip, so I guess they're worth it in the end.
That's true. It's the memories that matter. And even the bad parts of the airport experience become funny stories later, like the surfboard guy or the tennis net conversation you had to sit through.
You're right. At the time, I was so annoyed, but now I look back and laugh about it. It's all part of the adventure.
I think that's a great way to sum it up. Traveling is about the whole journey, not just the destination. The airport is just the first chapter of the story.
Well said, Sarah. So where are you heading off to next? Any big plans?
Well, I'm thinking about going to Italy next summer. I've always wanted to see Rome. I'll just have to save up some money first.
Oh, Italy. That sounds amazing. Just imagine the airport in Rome. It'll be full of people drinking espresso and looking stylish. You'll fit right in.
I don't know about the looking stylish part after an 8-hour flight, but I'll definitely be looking for the espresso. What about you?
I think I might go for a road trip this time. No airports for a while. Just me, a car, and a map.
A road trip? That sounds much more relaxing. No security lines.
Exactly. But I'll probably miss out on the people watching. And the giant Toblerones, of course.
Don't worry. I'm sure you can find a giant Toblerone at a gas station somewhere if you look hard enough.
You're probably right. Well, this has been a great chat, Sarah. It makes me want to get away even more now.
Me too, Mike. It's always fun to talk through these things. To our listeners, we hope you enjoyed our little trip through the airport today. Maybe it'll make your next flight feel a bit more like an adventure and a bit less like a chore.
Definitely. And remember, if you see someone trying to check in a tree, just smile and move on. It's just another day at the airport.
That's exactly. Thanks for joining us on Nighttime Mics. We'll be back next time with another topic to dive into.
Can't wait. See you then, everyone.
Bye.
See ya.